One of the things I've learned recently is that a simpler approach to life is the best way to maintain your inner peace. The only thing that stresses me now is immediate problems which I eventually solve, and then some thoughts about my future. Those are my only stressors, and I don't worry about anything that's beyond my control. And I've developed that recently when I understood that the only things that I can control are internal, my mind, my thoughts, and things like that. Same for you. One of the tools that I've used is my understanding of people, by really paying attention to what may be the reasons for their differences from me. If everybody was like you would like them. The only reason you have any problem with anybody on earth is because of the differences between them and you. When somebody does something you wouldn't do, you tend to have some resentment. You realize, this person is a little bit away from me. It is why birds of the same feathers flock together. It is why like minds always hang out with each other. People who share the same values are always around each other, because you want people who reinforce your own thoughts and beliefs. But then, if you are that kind of person who is only interested in people who think like you and act like you, then you're going to now have a hard time mingling with people who do not. You might not want to interact with somebody a man who acts effeminate, and that particular blockage and prejudice that you have against people who behave like that or who are like that will block you from anything that person has to offer. And you won't even see it or even know you lost it because of that. And in several ways, it could be someone's tribe. It could be a short man that a woman doesn't want to deal with, even in business, because they feel like short men, and maybe your ex-husband was a short man and he dealt with you, and you feel like, even in business I will not deal with short men. It is important for us to try and backtrack and see how to rewire our brains to be able to be open to other people. And one of the ways to do that is to try and understand the other person. And everybody believes that they themselves are the center of the world, at the center of the universe, not knowing that everybody that has lived in this life had that thought to one degree or the other, and they still died, as you will. The truth is that everybody that acts a certain way learns that. A human being is born like a blank sheet of paper, and it is environment that writes on that person, and then the person begins to show what they have collected in the past. Example is speech. The way a child would talk, a teenager, let's say teenager, if a newborn comes into this world, by the time he's 10, he begins to sound like the people he listens to the most. He begins to sound like his father. If his father has the H factor, if he's Yoruba, or has an accent of some sort, that's the accent the child will grow up with. That's the speech pattern, the way the words are pronounced and things like that, the exclamations that he sees and listens to at home, that is what he's going to grow up with. And it's the same way with life. Anything that you see somebody believe in, it was taught to them. It's not their fault. And that is the same way the way I behave and the things that I think are my mannerisms and all of that was gotten somewhere from somebody, from the things that people who I respect and whose content I consume. And that is what forms the differences in everybody. Even our levels of empathy and stuff like that comes from our experiences and what our parents have done. If you hear your father ever say your father is always saying it is bad to trust people, you will have a problem with trusting. If that was one of the first advice you ever got in your life, or one of the only advices you ever got in your life at an early age. And if you encounter somebody who has a problem trusting you, even when there is little or no chance of you doing them any harm, and it is doing your head in, just understand, well, somebody somewhere learnt a very, very harsh lesson, and that is why now this is how they are. If you understand that, then you might maybe find another way to work around it instead of coming with confrontation. And you can use it in different ways. The personalities of people differ based on their experiences. There is a scene from Ted Lasso where obviously Ted Lasso went to this club to manage the club. He doesn't know anything about football, and then the ex-husband of the club's owner was trying to challenge him in a game of darts, and the man was good at that, so he was making fun of him while he was like sticking his own darts on the board and making high scores. And Ted Lasso said something before finishing him off in that darts game, saying, "Be curious, not judgmental." And if you move through life being more curious than judgmental, you will learn about people and you will understand people more, and then inadvertently you will be understood better yourself, and that just makes everything easier, makes life easier. Remember, you can listen to these episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you don't want to watch my talking head. And please like the video, share, do whatever you can to support the channel. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.